ya tenemos varias personas aquí. We're gonna get started. And I'm gonna start by putting my needle and my microblading pen. This is a microblading pen for those of you that have absolutely no idea what microblading is. This is where we start. This is the microblading pen. They have disposable ones that you use once and throw away. I personally like this more because it's better for the environment. You're not wasting a lot of plastic. You just really have to make sure that you always sanitize this before you work in a client. Either way, this is what needs to be disposable, 100%. Because this is what you're going to be using to work with your client. Para los que no tienen ninguna experiencia, esto es el lápiz de microblading. Tienen algunos que son desechables, que se botan. A mí me gustan estos más porque es mejor para el medio ambiente, no está gastando tanto plástico. Solo tienes que asegurarte que siempre lo esterilices antes de empezar. Esta agujita que ven aquí es lo que tiene que ser desechable, porque es lo que vas a usar para estar trabajando con tu modelo. Okay? So we start by unscrewing this top part of the microblading pen, and you are going to get 3 pieces. These are the 3 pieces that you're going to be working with. So to put on this needle, obviously wear gloves if you're working with a client, but we're not working with a client here. So just get it open. Careful not to poke yourself. Aquí tienen 3 piezas con las que van a trabajar. Yo pongo la aguja aquí y la pongo aquí adentro hasta que haga un clic. So this is how the needle goes on. This is the eccentric move. This is the type of needle I use. I never use anything that's not like this. This round tip that you see here, I personally find it the easiest to work with. I don't like the angled needles for some reason. Esta aguja que ven aquí es redonda y es la que a mí me gusta para trabajar. No me gustan las que son triangular o anguladas porque con esta me siento más cómoda. Pero cada persona practica con varios tipos de agujas y el que te guste es el que usas. You put it back in here, and this is already your setup microblading pen. When I'm working with a client, I wrap this with, I usually use medical tape just to protect this from getting any blood or anything like that, but I still always sanitize this right after every single client. Cuando ya tengan la aguja aquí, simplemente pónganle como un tape médico alrededor de este lápiz para que no se contamine con sangre ni nada de eso. Okay? So, do you guys have any questions? Anything you want me to cover? ¿Tienen alguna pregunta? Algo que deberían saber? ¿Algo que tienen curiosidad? Quiero responderle todas las preguntas. Alright, so I pulled out my practice latex. As you can see, I have already done some work on it. But this is the one that I practice with for the head strokes, the strokes that go in the front, because it's easy. I'm not wasting any latex. And you don't need ink. No necesitas tinta para practicar en este látex porque solamente con hacer las cortaditas ya se queda el trazo de donde trabajaste. No, you cannot do microblading with a micropigmentation machine. That's actually a really common question. Microblading is 100% manual, all done with this type of needle, or if you're going to be doing some shading, there's a different type of needle that is essentially like this, and what you do is you kind of poke. I sterilize, oh, I wish I had some here. Yo esterilizo con te venden como unos wipes que son para esterilizar superficies. Yo siempre lo limpio con eso. Cuando termino limpio con eso y después lo puedes poner en un horno de esterilizar. Si no quieres pasar ese trabajo, puedes comprarte unos lápices que son 100% desechables. Cuestan un poquitico más caro, pero si estás bien ocupada y puedes afford uno de esos que son desechables, vale la pena en ese sentido, porque estás trabajando y simplemente cuando terminas recoges todo y lo botas. Where do you purchase supplies? I purchase a little bit of everywhere. Some of it I can find on Amazon. Some of the stuff you have to get from tattoo supplies. I personally sell most of this stuff. If you stay tuned till the end, I'll tell you where you can buy everything that I'm gonna be using here, so that you can practice at home. So just stay tuned. ¿Dónde consigo ese látex? Solamente quédate un ratico más y en un rato yo explico dónde puedes conseguir todas estas cosas. Pero en Amazon, en lugares donde venden cosas de tatuajes, tú simplemente buscas online y lo encuentras. Pero este que estoy usando yo, que ya viene con los trazos hechos y no necesitas tinta, los pueden comprar en mi website. Yo les digo más tarde. ¿Dónde puedo conseguir los desechables y cómo se llaman? Solamente busca lápices de microblading desechables. En Amazon los tienen. Los pueden comprar si hay una tienda específica de microblading que a ustedes les gustan los productos, pueden comprarlo de ahí, pero en Amazon los pueden comprar. Ok. Any more questions? ¿Alguna pregunta? How many of you don't have latex to practice today? Type 1 if you don't have any latex. ¿Cuántos de ustedes no tienen ningún latex para practicar hoy? Marquen el 1. So no latex. If you do have latex, press 2. Si tienen latex, si lo tienen ahora mismo, marca el número 2 para yo saber. Okay, so most of you don't have any latex. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna teach you how to work on latex, because I really want you to see how cool this is, and you can practice on your latex if you do have it. But once I'm done with this, it'll be quick. I'm gonna show you how to practice on paper so that you have more experience for when you do get your latex. All right, I'm gonna set up for practice. You guys won't be seeing my face anymore. We're gonna be looking at the latex, okay? Okay, so here is the latex. Let me know if you can see these little hair strokes here. As you can tell, I don't need any pigment, because just by doing this, the lines stay there. Okay, so the first exercise that I'm gonna show you is how to get used to working with this pen. Okay, it's it takes a little bit, and depending on what angle you're working with, you're gonna press it differently. So what we're gonna do is just use a random space on your latex and just do a bunch of little hairs. They don't have to be all the same size. I just want you to get used to the movement that you're gonna be using. You grab it like if it was a pen or a pencil. And with this pen, the way that I have this needle right here, most of it, I don't know if you've ever seen, but most people actually put their needle angled. I can't show you right now, but they have it angled. I like this much better because when I press 90 degrees from the skin, it just scratches the very surface. And it's a lot easier to not cut too deep because this is something that you definitely want to be super careful. So lo que vamos a hacer es simplemente agarrar tu lápiz de microblading y vamos a hacer unos vellitos. No tienen que estar perfectos, pero solo quiero que entiendan cómo es que se maneja el lápiz de microblading. Lo pones a 90 grados del látex o de la piel de la clienta. And you're just gonna do little hairs. Pelitos, pelitos, pelitos hasta que te sientas cómoda con lo que estás haciendo. Trata de no cortar muy profundamente. Y la clave de esto es hacerlo todo al mismo nivel de superficie. The key here is to do this at the same level. They should all look the same thickness. If some of them look thicker than others, like for example, if I do one like this, that's super thick, and I do one that's super thin like that, that's not good. You want them to all be the same thickness because if not, you're going to risk having some areas that don't take the color evenly. And some areas are gonna be really, really patchy. Some areas are gonna look really dark and thick and bold, and then some others are gonna look really thin. The key is to get the hang of how you do this so that they all stay the same thickness, because that means that you're working at the same level at all times. Are we all good so far? ¿Todos están bien? ¿Están entendiendo? Okay, so once you're used to working on these random little areas, we're gonna go on the actual head strokes. So this is where it gets tricky. The head strokes are super, super, super important because that's what you see the most. Okay, this area is super important. Okay, so I'm gonna start by doing the first hair. You always do the first hair on the edge of the drawing. Okay, so that's your first little hair. Can you guys see? And then for the second hair, you want to start about halfway from the first one. Para hacer el segundo vellito, deben empezar más o menos en la mitad del primer pelo que ya hiciste y llevarlo hacia arriba. So you start from halfway and you take it all the way up. That's your second little hair. As you can see, they're both the same thickness. That's super important because that means that we're working on the first level, the same level of the skin. Super, super important. So now we're gonna do the third hair. We start at the bottom again. That's it. That's 3 hairs. And then the same thing that we did with the second one, we start about halfway from this one. And you go all the way up. So you got 4 little hairs there. Super cute. And then we do the same thing on the other side. Now, the other side, the left side, to me, it's always a little bit more difficult unless I'm working with a client. When I'm working with a client, the left side, it's actually a lot easier for me. But when I'm working on latex, it's a little bit more difficult. So what I'm gonna do is I flip the latex and I put it as if I'm working behind the client. Okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing that I did on this side. I'm gonna try to make it exactly the same, but I'm gonna let you know right now, it's not gonna be exactly the same because it's just different. You're working on a different angle. If it doesn't look exactly the same as the first one, don't worry too much. This is not really something that's noticeable. As long as they both have the same direction, that's what matters. So para hacer el lado izquierdo, a mí me parece más fácil hacerlo en persona, pero cuando estoy trabajando en latex, este lado se me hace un poquito más difícil. Here we got our first hair. And for the second, we do the same thing. We start about halfway from this one. And then the third one. And then the last one, again, from halfway up, all the way to the top of the eyebrow. All right, so there we got our first two fronts of the eyebrows. Can you guys see fine? ¿Pueden ver bien? Okay, so that was the beginning of the eyebrow. That part is super, super important. But I do want to let you guys know, if they don't look exactly the same, it's really not a big deal. As you can tell, for example, my eyebrows, they're not exactly the same, and that these are my natural eyebrows. And the same thing happens with your client's eyebrows. She may have one eyebrow that her hairs go sideways, and her other eyebrow, they may go up. You always want to follow the same direction that the hair is going to. Cuando estén trabajando en una clienta, no se preocupen si el principio de las cejas no son idénticamente iguales. Sí tienes que tratar de que se parezca lo más posible, pero si se dan cuenta, por ejemplo, en mi ceja, que es natural, estos pelitos a mí me crecen hacia el lado y aquí me crecen hacia arriba. Cuando usted esté trabajando en una clienta, siempre tienes que seguir la misma dirección del pelo de la clienta. Así que si el pelo le crece hacia el lado, vas hacia el lado. Y si el pelo le crece hacia arriba, tú tienes que seguir la misma dirección que la clienta para que se vea bien natural. Sí, cuando yo trabajo en la ceja derecha, imagínense que esta es la cara de mi clienta y estas son las cejas. Yo trabajo así, de este lado. Para el lado izquierdo, yo trabajo por detrás de la clienta y así. When I'm working on a real person, imagine this is the face of the client. All right, this is the face. These are her eyebrows. For her right eyebrow, I work like this, like right next to her face. For the left eyebrow, I always go to the back of her face. So imagine this is her face. These are her eyebrows. I'm always working on this side. So I'm constantly moving around to make sure that I'm comfortable and that the client is comfortable. I never stay in one place. I'm constantly moving so that I can reach the good places. Cuando estés trabajando con la clienta, yo personalmente siempre me estoy moviendo. Hay ángulos que se me hacen más fácil al lado de la clienta. Hay algunos lados que se hacen más fácil por detrás de la clienta. Tú simplemente muévete hasta que encuentres el punto que te parece más cómodo. ¿Ok? Ahora les voy a enseñar a las que no tienen látex, les voy a enseñar cómo hacerlo en papel. Un segundo. Alright, so if you don't have latex, pull out a pencil and a piece of paper. What you're gonna be doing is just practice doing little hairs. It's kind of hard to see, but just do little hairs. The key is to not do it super hard and defined. Can you tell the difference between these and these? These are like super harsh. You can tell where they end. This one's, they're very airy. They're very feathery. And that's how you want to do it. You just want to be super gentle. Just kind of like moving your pencil as you go. All right. So you could just do that on a piece of paper. Do it until you can't get it wrong anymore. Okay? A lot of times we practice and practice, and then once you get it right, oh my God, I'm good, I got it right. But then you're gonna get it wrong so many more times after that. You wanna do it until you just can't get it wrong. Like there's no way that you could get this wrong because you have done it so many times that you could do it with your eyes closed. Okay? So for those of you that don't have latex, just kind of practice the movement of your wrist. You know, just get used to using your arm. And another thing that's super important, obviously you don't need to stretch anything here, but get used to a 3-point stretch. Get used to using your left arm. My ladies out there that do lashes, that have experience and they know how to use their left hand, if you're not a lefty, they would do really good because you have to always keep a 3-point stretch while you're working. Okay? So this is what a 3-point stretch looks like. When you're working on a client, you're going to use your middle finger and your thumb from your left hand, and you're always going to stretch the skin where you're working, and also with your pinky. So you're going to put your 2 fingers here, 1 finger here, and then you're going to work like that, okay? If there's one thing that you need to know, it's 3-point stretch. It's extremely, extremely important because you need to stretch the skin so that the needles go in easier. If you don't stretch the skin, you're just gonna do this. You're not really gonna be cutting. If the skin is stretched, see how easy? There's no bend, there's nothing. But if the skin is not stretched, do you see how much movement we see? I don't know if you guys get it here. Lo más importante es mantener la piel estirada. La diferencia cuando trabajas con una piel estirada, se las voy a mostrar ahora. Por ejemplo, aquí mismo la piel no está estirada, ¿no? Y cuando estoy trabajando, mira cómo se mueve. Se mueve muchísimo. Pero si la piel está estirada, o sea, no se mueve. Es mucho más fácil para que la aguja entre y no tengas que cortar tan profundo. Okay? How many of you are good so far? Any questions? ¿Alguna pregunta hasta ahora? Antes de seguir para el próximo paso. Alright, so I'm gonna continue doing this eyebrow that I just started. So now we're moving on to the transition. Give me 1 second so I can adjust the lighting. Is that better? Sí, en papel, ya como les estaba explicando, lo que deberían hacer para practicar es hacer pelitos. No tienen que seguir ninguna forma específica, solamente quiero que hagan unos pelitos así. Porque un error muy común es que hacemos como si fuera pelito y presionamos demasiado el lápiz y te salen estos pelitos muy gruesos, muy oscuros, sin fluidez. Y el punto es que te salgan unos pelitos bien natural, bien suave, bien aireados. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the rest of this eyebrow. We left off right here. We're gonna continue doing those. Now, the transition strokes are really, really difficult. They're actually the ones that I struggle with the most. Los pelitos de la transición del principio al resto de la ceja son mucho más difíciles, pero les voy a enseñar ahora. So, I'm working on this one right here. The first hair for transition, you wanna do it in a way where it goes to the top of the outline that you already did previously. Okay, so we're gonna start from halfway up and just touch that top part. Can you see? So that's the first hair of the transition. The second one I do from the bottom up. And go all the way up and kind of like almost touch that last one that you made right there. And then again from halfway up. And that's your last hair of the transition. The key here is to make it flowy and not to make it super harsh. You definitely want that to be like super slow and transitional. Estos últimos pelitos de la transición es súper importante que lo hagan lucir como que con fluidez. A mí no me gusta ver, les voy a enseñar un ejemplo que no es bueno, ¿ok? I don't like seeing when people do hairs like this, for example. And then the transition is like this. I think that's so ugly. Esta transición es muy mala. A mí no me gusta ver cuando hacen unos pelitos hacia arriba y de repente unos hacia abajo. O sea, no hay fluidez en el movimiento, no hay una transición suave, es bien dura y no sé, no me gusta. So when you guys are doing the transition, don't do this. This is really ugly. It's like going up, 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 and then down, down, down without any transition whatsoever. So this part, I know it's a little bit tricky, but it's super, super important. If you don't know how to do this, your eyebrows are just gonna look, they're gonna look super harsh if you really, really pay close attention to it. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Vamos a hacer lo mismo del otro lado. De nuevo empezamos desde la mitad de esta ceja, o sea, desde la mitad de este pelito hacia arriba hasta que toque la parte superior. Luego después de esa hacemos uno aquí abajo que llegue hasta la mitad, que no llegue necesariamente hacia arriba, Y después de ese hacemos el último pelito de la transición que empieza desde la mitad hacia arriba. And that's your transition right there. Okay. So, aquí tienen la transición. Como ven, es bien suave. Es bien fluida. No son unas líneas que suben y de repente bajan. Esto es súper, súper importante. Ok. Ya este látex solamente trae las partes del principio de la ceja. Lo bueno es que cuando estén practicando, casi todos los látex que hay te traen la ceja completa como este. Y estarías malgastando, pero con esta solamente puedes practicar desde el principio. So we're gonna move on to the full eyebrow. As you could see on the previous latex that I had only the beginning of the eyebrow because that's what we were doing. But now I'm going to show you how to do a full eyebrow. Okay, so just watch as I do it. En esta ceja les voy a enseñar cómo hacer una ceja completa. Ya la parte principal del principio de la ceja ya la entendimos, así que vamos a move on. Can you guys see? ¿Pueden ver bien? This is a transition. All right. So something that you can do here to know how long these hairs should be, just go from that top last transition and just kind of do these little marks. They shouldn't be noticeable. It's just for you to know. Para saber de qué tamaño deberían ser estos palitos que estamos haciendo aquí abajo, pueden hacer una marquita que casi ni se nota. Es solamente para saber dónde vas a estar trabajando y hasta qué tamaño deberían tener los vellitos de abajo. So we're gonna do these bottom hairs. So you can see I made this little line. You can barely see it. It's really just for you to know where you're gonna be working. Can you guys see fine? Okay. So we're gonna do these. Always starting where that outline is. You see this outline? You always want to be on that outline, not over it, not inside, always on that line that is defining the eyebrow. These hairs are actually really tricky because some people do them pointing down too much or too straight. This is something you want to do a little bit straight, but with a little bit of a curve. Not too curved either, because it's just gonna make it look like they're all coming down. So just do a slight curve, but not too much. As you get close to the arch, they can be a little bit longer. And they're pretty much just hugging that outline. You see, aquí ven, estos pelitos de aquí arriba, muchas personas a veces los hacen o demasiado rectos o demasiado curviados. El punto es que tengan un poco de curvatura, pero no tanto porque entonces se va a ver un poquitico raro. Y el punto es que siempre esté por encima de esa línea que está delineando la ceja. ¿Ok? So once we get that, we're going to go to the bottom strokes. We're pretty much just going to go all the way up until we reach that almost invisible line that we did here. Always leaving the same distance between hairs. Aquí vamos a estar haciendo estas líneas. Van a ser bien parecidas a estas que hiciste aquí arriba. Un poquito rectas, pero no mucho. Siempre deben tener un poco de curvatura. Y siempre dejar la misma distancia entre cada pelito. Always leaving the same distance because you're going to be filling in those spaces soon. All right, and you go until the end of that invisible line that you did. And the last one is usually right around the outline. All right, are we good so far? So that's how you do those bottom ones. Now what we're gonna do is fill inside those lines. So next step is filling in here in this area. Ahora vamos a rellenar todo lo que queda por dentro, pero esto es lo más importante. This here that we have done, that's the most important part of the eyebrow. If you get that right, that's it. Pretty much that you have the shape of the eyebrow. It's good. Now all you have to do is fill in inside those hairs, and then this area right here. I'm gonna show you how to fill that in. All right. So now we connect these little spaces that we have right here. So with these little spaces, and then same thing on the other side, on the other space that you have right here. Now, I always do it until I get to this area. Once I get here, I start doing the top. Siempre los hago hasta que llegue a este lado, rellenando en esos huequitos, y ahora relleno todo lo que queda por encima. Now, this part is super tricky because you don't want to cross these hairs. You don't want to cross it. You don't want to be 100% parallel. You start about right here and you always touch the little tip. Can you see that? I start about right here and I touch the tip of the top hair. Aquí tienen que empezar como que con una pequeña distancia entre este y el de arriba, y luego lo deslizan hasta que toquen la punta del que llegue arriba. Okay? Same thing on the other side. On the other hairs. You just start from here and you almost want to make like a triangle. I don't know if you guys get it, but it's like a little triangle when you look at it from the side. You see that? They almost look like the same hair. Hacen varios hasta que lleguen hacia abajo. The key here is to be super gentle. Just be super gentle. You can always add more, but if you work too hard from the beginning, it's just gonna be a little bit harder later to make them all look even. And there you go. Now you just filling inside. If for some reason you still feel like there's some empty spaces, you can always do tiny little hairs in between those to make sure that they look even. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill inside the bottom part. This bottom part needs to be filled in so that it all looks the same. Ahora vamos a rellenar la parte de abajo. Vamos a rellenar entre cada pelito, lo vamos a añadir un pelito que va a seguir hacia arriba para que todo se mezcle bien. This part was actually the hardest part ever that I had to, when I was learning how to microblade. Connecting the bottom to the top was extremely hard for me. So you want to make it look natural, right? The best way to make it look natural is for all these little hairs. You need to make some that start at the bottom, some in the middle, bottom, middle, bottom, middle. You definitely want to make it look super natural. So as you can see, I'm starting not all the way from the edge of the outline. I'm starting a little bit higher. And I go all the way up until I connect with those top hairs. So this is it. Can you guys see fine? Ok. So aquí como ven está todo bien parejo. Si ven algún espacio, algún área que debería tener un poquitico más de relleno, simplemente con la aguja le hacen unos pelitos bien finitos, solamente como que para rellenar. Okay. Do you guys have any questions at all? Materials, anything? Do you want me to keep going? Do you want me to teach another style of hairs? I want you guys to send me pictures because I like to see how you're doing and how you're practicing. We have a lot of free time right now, so this is the perfect time to learn a new procedure. ¿Cuándo puedes hacer otra clase? No sé, las podría hacer una vez a la semana para que aprendan varios tips. Okay, another style. Okay, so someone wants to learn another style. I'm gonna show you how to do the messy head strokes. That one's pretty fun. I like doing that. So I'm gonna go back to this one because I want you guys to learn how to do the messy head strokes. This is perfect. What I'm gonna teach you right now is perfect for clients that have straight hair. They don't necessarily go sideways, or clients that have hairs that come out of their eyebrows. If someone has little hairs or thin eyebrows, as long as it's done correctly, it looks good. And it depends on what the client likes. So a lot of clients would straight up tell me, I don't want those little messy ones. Some clients tell me, I want it to be like a little bit round. I want it to be super natural. So you always want to nurture the trust that you have with your client so that she trusts you and she tells you what they like. Something that's super, super important, and I think that's what has led to my, I guess, success with microblading, is that I am so honest with my clients, and I explain every little detail, because the more informed your client is, the more they're going to trust you, and the more they're going to recommend you to their friends. Algo que es súper, súper, súper importante es mantener la confianza con tu clienta, explicarle todo lo que estás haciendo. Antes de empezar a dibujarle, le explicas, mira, te voy a hacer un dibujo ahora, yo te voy a medir, todo eso, porque mientras más confianza y más información le des a tu clienta, más confianza te van a tener y van a seguir regresando, ¿ok? So we're gonna do the messy head strokes now. Vamos a hacer otro estilo de esos pelitos que están adelante. Déjame tomar agua antes. So for the messy head strokes, we're gonna start here in the beginning of the eyebrow. And the main difference is that instead of doing the hairs going inside of the eyebrows, we're gonna do it sticking out a little bit. Just the first one, okay? So watch. So that little hair is like sticking out of the shape. And then the second one, you could either do the same thing or make it straight. And there you have like a messy hair. Aquí tienen un estilo que es como si fuera una ceja despeinada. A muchas clientas les gusta porque luce bien natural. Y si la clienta naturalmente tiene esos pelitos que se le salen un poco, deberías hacerlo, recuerda, siempre de la misma dirección que el pelo de la clienta crece. So, this one is super fun. I love doing this one. The same thing on the other side. And there you have it. So that's a messy hair. You can do different styles. You can do pretty much whatever you feel like would look better, as long as you follow the same direction of your client's hair. If her hair is going up, you do the hairs going up. If her hair is going sideways, you make it going sideways, because it's just gonna blend in and it's gonna look like it's her natural hair. If her natural hair is going sideways and you make the microblading going up, you can tell the difference. Si ustedes tienen una clienta que su pelo naturalmente le crece hacia el lado y ustedes le hacen el microblading parado, así como si fueran unos pelos rectos, se va a notar la diferencia y la clienta va a saber cuál es el microblading y cuál es la ceja de ella natural. La meta es que la clienta ni se dé cuenta de cuál es el microblading y cuál es la ceja de ella natural, porque eso te va a decir que están bien naturales y que están bien hechas. Okay, I want to get pictures of you guys. I want you guys to send me pictures of your latex work so that I can tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. A lot of you were wondering where you can get this latex, and this is my time to show you what you can get. So I currently have an online course going on. Obviously right now we're all stuck at home. I can't really do anything else than online courses because we're all in quarantine and we're all bored. Where does shading come in? Okay, so once you're done with the microblading, if there's some areas that still look a little empty, you can go in with a shading needle and you can fill inside those empty spots. A lot of times we do shading because we can only do so many little hairs, okay? If you put those hairs too close to each other, because, oh my God, this area looks a little light, I'm gonna add another little hair, sometimes that hair is just gonna blend in with the other ones, and that's where you put the shading. Because the shading is gonna fill it in, but it's not necessarily gonna make it look like there's more stuff in there. ¿Qué materiales usas o nos recomiendas? Ok, so yo vendo también todos los materiales que yo les he enseñado a ustedes trabajando aquí, los tengo en un kit de principiantes. Les voy a enseñar todo lo que viene incluido. Vienen 4 látex, algunos que ya tienen la ceja completa y otros que tienen solamente el principio de la ceja, como les estaba enseñando ahí. Viene el holder de microblading, igualito al que yo estaba usando. Vienen las agujas, las mismas con las que yo estoy trabajando. Y también viene el golden ratio compass. This is so important. This is one of the most important things for microblading. Maybe the next live I'm gonna show how to use this to measure the eyebrows. This is the golden ratio compass. This is what you're gonna use to measure the eyebrows, draw the outline for your clients. No, it's not a special needle. I only use this type of needle. This is what I use. There's many different kinds of needles out there. There's some that are angled. There's some that are round. These are my favorite. They're called U-blade. U as the letter, U-blade. So, any other questions? That's where, yeah, it's like poking, Nati. So when you're doing the shading, you're pretty much poking, but that's another story. First, you wanna get the microblading done, and then once you're good with that, you can go with the shading. Now, my time is running out. I only have 2 minutes, and this live is gonna end. So I do wanna tell you guys a really special deal that I have going on right now. I have an online course where I go into detail. So what I did today was only scratching the surface. I do have that online course where it's $55 and you get this kit for free, or the course for free. The course is, when I first did it, it was meant to be $700, but I know that it's really tough times right now, and a lot of us could use some online training at home. So when you sign up to that, you get this kit delivered to your house where you can start practicing right away. Send me a DM if you do wanna purchase that. Si ustedes quieren seguir practicando, yo tengo un especial buenísimo de un curso online. El precio original es de $700, pero sé que estamos en una situación un poco incómoda y ahora mismo el curso está en solamente $55, o sea, es nada. Y además reciben este kit incluido, donde tienes todo lo que necesitas para trabajar. Así que si quieres pasar ese curso, mándame un DM y yo te mando la información. The kit is $55 with the course. So it's really nothing. All you're paying is pretty much for the kit, and then you get an online course for free, which is amazing. Es online, el curso es online, así que dura cuanto quieras. Sí, online. Y son $55. All right, this